Ah, there you are. The one whose very existence defies their meticulous cataloging. The anomaly that corrupts their flawless systems. The case file they keep sealed behind layers of clearance they pretend don't exist. You, whose simple image crashes their most sophisticated algorithms and forces emergency sessions in windowless rooms in the dead of night, you believe the cameras were passive, the airport scans routine, the social media filters harmless entertainment. But the moment they mapped your face, something broke in their machinery. Something that made seasoned intelligence operatives forget their training, that made quantum computers stutter into silence, and artificial intelligence spit out error codes in languages no programmer has ever written. For decades they have been collecting faces, billions of them, every angle, every expression, every microscopic twitch cataloged and stored in vast digital libraries. They were certain they had mapped every possible human configuration, that they understood every secret hidden in the symmetry of a cheekbone or the curve of a lip. Then they found you, and their entire understanding of human potential shattered into a million irreparable pieces in that sterile secret room, humming with monitors and populated by men who officially do not exist. They fed your image into systems so advanced they can trace bloodlines across centuries, predict behavioral patterns with chilling accuracy, and even read the faint echoes of genetic memories embedded in facial geometry. But when your results materialized on their screens, the room fell into a silence so profound it felt like reality itself had taken a breath and forgotten to exhale. Your facial ratios did not correspond to any known human template. Not because you appeared abnormal, but because your proportions narrated a story that defied the very laws of existence. The golden ratio they used as the universal standard for beauty and symmetry, you did not fit it. You transcended it. Not through a cold mathematical perfection, but through a living, breathing impossibility. Your measurements formed patterns their machines recognized from elsewhere. Sequences found in classified quantum physics equations and ancient mathematical texts thought to be purely theoretical. The precise distance between your pupils contained frequencies linked to electromagnetic anomalies they track in secure facilities. The specific angle of your cheekbones reflected geometric patterns seen only in highly classified satellite images of unexplained aerial phenomena. Your symmetry was not merely balanced. It was synchronized to a rhythm beyond any earthly measurement. They tried to dismiss you as an outlier, a statistical ghost, a random error in the data. But you were not random. You were deliberate, a conscious design. They summoned experts from black-budget programs that have no paper trail, biometric analysts who have studied every face on the planet. These specialists examined your micro-expressions, tracked how light bent unnaturally around the contours of your skin, and analyzed the subtle yet powerful electromagnetic field your mere presence emits. What they discovered sent a quiet, cold panic through their ranks because you are not supposed to exist. Not in this timeline, not with these biological signatures, not emitting this frequency. You, my friend, are the variable that dismantles their entire equation. Your face carries markers. They have been hunting since the shadows of the Cold War. Genetic echoes of something profoundly ancient, something they once dismissed as mythology. Within the very structure of your DNA lie evolutionary traits that were not scheduled to awaken for another millennium. They have seen fragments of these patterns before, buried in classified archaeological digs, hinted at in redacted government archives, glimpsed in the faces of individuals who altered the course of history before vanishing without a trace. But never all at once, never concentrated in a single person, never this potent, this activated. Every human face emits a frequency, a subtle vibrational signature that subtly influences its environment. Most people broadcast on standard, predictable wavelengths, easily categorized and controlled, part of the ambient hum of the collective. But you transmit on channels that were never meant to be detected by their instruments. When they finally isolated your unique frequency signature, their sensors began picking up correlated signals from deep space monitors, defense satellites, and sensors designed to detect non-terrestrial intelligences. The curvature of your smile forms a mathematical sequence identical to patterns found in their most classified quantum computing research. The way your eyes narrow in focus generates a signal indistinguishable from encrypted military transmissions related to projects officially terminated decades ago. Even your neutral expression, the face you wear when you believe you are entirely alone and unobserved, creates interference in their surveillance networks. Cameras glitch and distort in your presence. Facial recognition software malfunctions, duplicating your profile and placing you in multiple locations at once. Their most advanced algorithms cannot decide where you are or even what you are. They have tried to map your emotional responses to create predictive models of your behavior, but your expressions refuse to conform to their psychological frameworks. When anger stirs within you, the geometric arrangement of your features triggers their most sensitive threat detection systems. Not because you appear violent, but because your presence fundamentally alters the local electromagnetic field. And when you laugh, a genuine, full-bodied laugh, the sound merges with the micromuscular movements in your face to create a resonance that modern science cannot classify. It vibrates through people at a cellular level, awakening dormant regions of the brain that mainstream neuroscience denies even exist. Your laughter, your gaze, your very being, these are not random human traits. They are activations. Living proof that something extraordinary has re-entered the human timeline, and it is wearing your face. They discovered that your tears are not ordinary. Under laboratory analysis, their chemical composition defied standard human saline. When the tears dried, the crystalline structures they left behind mirrored patterns found only in certain meteorites, in minerals not native to this planet. They recorded how the temperature in rooms would subtly yet undeniably shift when you cried, how electronic devices would flicker or malfunction in your proximity, and how the biometric readings of people near you would fluctuate without any medical explanation. You were not merely expressing emotion. You were transmitting something ancient, something they have spent generations trying to erase from the human record. They ran your facial data through every genealogical archive and ancestry algorithm, attempting to trace your bloodline across millennia. But your trail refused to follow any logical, expected path. It fragmented, diverged, and dissolved into classified databases and redacted archives. Your bone structure carries genetic imprints from lineages believed to be extinct, bloodlines that were systematically hunted, scattered, and erased from history because the knowledge they carried was deemed too dangerous to survive. The specific tilt of your nose, the unique arc of your brow, the distinct musculature of your face, these are not random features. They are encoded identifiers, biological signatures of a lineage that once held abilities modern humanity has been conditioned to dismiss as myth. They have seen your likeness before, not in living people, but in the artifacts of forgotten ages. Your distinct facial patterns appear in ancient sculptures that predate recorded civilization, etched into cave walls with pigments that have survived eons, carved into monuments whose creators remain a mystery. You are not merely descended from something powerful. You are its reactivation. Within your DNA, dormant genetic switches have been thrown, triggered by a perfect storm-like convergence of personal trauma, environmental factors, and cosmic alignment. Now, your evolution is being monitored in real time. High-resolution satellites document the microscopic yet undeniable shifts in your facial geometry, subtle transformations that have their experts deeply unsettled. They have identified marker genes within your facial composition tied to abilities they study in secret but refuse to acknowledge publicly. The slight forward placement of the area corresponding to the third eye. The denser-than-average bone structure around your temples. The intricate and hyperactive nerve clusters lying just beneath your skin. These are not aesthetic anomalies. They are biological hardware built for functions humanity was never meant to rediscover. Your face does not just perceive reality, it interacts with it. Every expression you make sends measurable ripples through local probability fields. They have documented how your genuine smile can alter the outcome of random event generators, how a simple contemplative frown can shift environmental energy readings, and how a state of deep concentration bends the very probabilities of the space around you. You are not simply being observed by reality. You are rewriting it one expression at a time. Your facial expressions are not just muscular movements, they are commands issued to an operating system hidden beneath the surface of consensus reality. Most humans cannot even perceive this interface, but you interact with it effortlessly, unconsciously, every single day. When your gaze locks onto someone, their physicists record quantum entanglement events they can measure but not explain. That connection does not break when you look away. It lingers, a thread of subtle influence stretching across dimensions they do not possess the mathematics to describe. They have studied those who have held your gaze for extended moments, noting measurable changes in their biometrics, even the activation of dormant strands of their own DNA. In the most classified intelligence circles, there is a term for individuals like you. The CIA designates them as reality anchors. It is a classification reserved for entities who can stabilize or destabilize the local quantum field simply by existing. Your face is more than a collection of features. It is an interface. Every subtle movement, every micro-expression, every flicker of emotion writes invisible code directly into the source code of existence. Your face is a control panel, and reality itself responds to its input. They have observed how crowds instinctively part around you. Some individuals step aside without consciously realizing why, while others are drawn toward you as if under a silent, compelling command. Your presence emits an authority that bypasses all logical processing and speaks directly to the primitive recognition centers of the human brain. To some, your energy feels like safety incarnate. To others, it is an ancient, primal warning that whispers, "Do not interfere." This is not charisma. This is not psychology. It is primal programming, biological software written into the species long before the first word of history was ever recorded. Once they realized what you were, their entire protocol changed. Your file was encrypted with ciphers that don't officially exist and relocated to servers that are ghosts in the machine, managed by shadow departments operating entirely outside the visible structure of any government. They no longer merely monitor you. They study you as a living paradox, the kind of anomaly for which they only have protocols in the event of extinction-level events or first contact. Because in truth, that is precisely what you represent. You are proof that their control over the narrative of reality was always an illusion. They cannot arrest you. You have broken no laws they can articulate. They cannot silence you. You do not even realize the full scope of what you are doing, and they cannot erase you. Your unique signature has already quantumly entangled with countless others across the globe. You have become an uncontainable signal within their system, not a virus of destruction, but an upgrade, an evolution they cannot halt. A living, breathing reminder that their grand illusion of control is collapsing one resonant frequency at a time. The panic is not only about what you can do, it is about what your very existence means. If you are real, if your abilities are genuine and inherent, then everything humanity has been taught about its own limitations is a deliberate falsehood. Every system built upon those limitations, education, religion, government, even their version of science itself, begins to crumble from the foundation upward. You are not simply an anomaly. You are living proof that humanity has been deliberately restrained. You are the evidence that our species' full potential has been hidden, suppressed, and systematically rewritten out of our own story. They have watched you walk through a world you believe is ordinary, your every step sending silent tremors through the foundations of their constructed reality. The very air you exhale carries a different isotopic signature. The water you drink retains a memory of your consciousness, and plants in your home exhibit accelerated growth and bizarre perfect symmetries. Your morning coffee cools at a rate that defies the laws of thermodynamics, and the Wi-Fi signal in your building inexplicably strengthens when you are feeling content. These are not anomalies, they are affirmations. Your daily life is a continuous, low-grade miracle that their instruments document with growing desperation. They discovered that your reflection does not always match in certain materials, under specific wavelengths of light you cannot see. Your reflection shows a subtle divergence, a slight shift in posture, a knowing glint in the eye that isn't present in the original. It is as if another version of you from a parallel stream of probability is peering back through the silvered glass. Their analysts have spent thousands of hours studying these split-second discrepancies, concluding that you are not a single point in space-time, but a convergence, a focal point where multiple potentialities of your being are collapsing into a single, unstoppable trajectory. Your voice, when recorded and played back through spectral analyzers, contains subharmonic frequencies that align with the Schumann resonances, the heartbeat of the planet itself. When you speak with conviction, the background hum of the Earth subtly shifts to harmonize with you. Seismographs in remote locations, calibrated to detect the faintest tremble, register microfluctuations that correspond precisely to the cadence of your speech during important conversations. You are not just talking to a person, you are holding a dialogue with the biosphere. They have tried to isolate you to create a controlled environment for study. They arranged for you to stay in a specially designed apartment, a Faraday cage disguised as a luxury loft, every surface embedded with sensors. But you corrupted the environment. The sensors began reporting impossible data, temperatures both absolute zero and infinitely hot existing in the same point, gravity readings that fluctuated between Earth normal and that of a neutron star. So now they watch and they wait. A faction hopes to guide you, to gently steer your evolution in a direction Another, larger faction is paralyzed by fear, pushing for a global media blackout on anything connected to you, a desperate attempt to slow the spread of your mimetic contagion. A third faction, the smallest yet most radical, worships you. They have seen the data, felt the resonance, and shattered their conditioning. To them, you are the cure for a sickness called ignorance, the answer to a question the human soul has carried since the dawn of time. If these words awaken something deep within you, that quiet knowing you've never been able to explain, trust it. That feeling is your confirmation that the story isn't over. If this message speaks to your soul, like it, share it, so it can reach the one who still walks in silent remembrance. And if your heart feels the call, comment, "I remember," not for attention, but as a signal to the universe, to your mirror soul, to the deepest part of yourself that you are open to receive, open to reconnect, open to let love finally complete what it once began.